Do we start?
No, wait. Now, action!
Far out in the ocean.
I thought it was the fanfare first.
Oh yeah, start again, just... Wait, I have to restart the video first. Ugh, this fucking...
No fucking please!
Oh, for God's sake.
And no taking the Lord's name in vain either.
I said for God's sake.
Was that a joke?
Yeah.
Funny, dear. Almost as funny as your grandmother pretending to be religious.
Oh, you.
Can we please? Right. 3, 2, 1, action!
Far out in the ocean, or as it is also known, the suburbs near the ocean, stands a castle, commonly called a duplex, of the Sea King. The Sea King had been a widower for many years, but his aged mother...
While she didn't exactly keep house for him, helped out whenever she wasn't busy or at the jewelry fair.
She was a very wise woman and exceedingly proud of her high standing in the world of jewelry making. On that account, she always wore 12 oysters on her tail, otherwise known as necklaces on her neck. It's called marketing, dear.
Grandma, it's my turn. Here, take this. Some say the Sea King has many as 6 mermaids as his daughters, and according to Disney, even 7. But in our tale, there are only 2.
And 2 is plenty, thank you very much.
The elder daughter swam fast in straight lines and always knew where she was going, and could blow any old seashell into submission to create the sweetest melody. If the elder sister were an ocean, she would be the sea at dawn, calm and unbroken with the shimmer of the sun upon her. The younger sister also swam fast, but rarely in straight lines, and she sometimes got lost. However, it was said that she had the strongest voice across the 7 seas, and loved using it to tell stories and sing songs. If the younger sister were an ocean, she'd be of the changeable variety, the Riptides constantly pulling her in all the directions, and always with the threat of an imminent storm. That's fine, it fits, doesn't it?
The ocean, also known as a suburb near the ocean, was not just a pretty place, void of anything scary. Nay, there were also the sea bitches.
Ooh, I'm not sure about the use of nay.
A little old-fashioned, perhaps. Or maybe just pretentious. Do you even know what pretentious means?
Do you? Adrian!
When the mermaids were very little and plain mermaids... Plain mermaids? I mean plain humans with their father in the living room. They invented the sea bitches. Partly because the littlest couldn't say which. So she said bitch. And the sea witch was the one in the story who...
It's a little unclear where you're going with this.
Maybe you should try and write a little song instead.
Good at songs, you know. Everyone says.
Maybe you could draw something.
Oh, a little fish?
I'm singing one.
La 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 la!
The sea bitches may seem like gentle waves, helping to keep you afloat at first. But in reality, they're the riptides that pull you off your feet and swim up your safe ocean in a second. They're the things that make you go from 1% mad to 95% mad. The sea bitches basically serve one purpose and one purpose only. They mess your selfish up.
Don't think I don't know where you were going with that. School project or not, your foul mouth is breaking my heart.
Selfish, selfish, you are really selfish. You should go and selfish, selfish, selfish.
Because you forgot to feed the fish again.
80, just keep going. I'll help you edit all the junk out later. Here, take the phone back. Dad, you're up.
So, just out of curiosity, while we're taking this little break, where are we actually going with this?
Nowhere.
You never finish anything.
You lack the concentration.
The drive.
You've got the potential.
But man, are you lazy.
Your sister would have just done it and got it done.
And everyone knows it.
Dad, you know what it is. Adrian already said. It's the reimagination of The Little Mermaid into modern life for a school project.
Yeah, I know. It's just.
Got a cramp.
It doesn't matter, okay? It's a stupid idea. Stupid like me. S-H-I-T, like me.
S-H-I-T, S-H-I-T, S-H-I-T.
Oh, come on, Adrian. It's not.
Just forget it, okay? I'm gonna do something else.
No, it's a great idea.
Oh, go drown yourself, Anna. It's a stupid idea, and I know you think so too. Everyone knows you're better at everything. So stop pretending like I'm any good at anything at all. It's so patronizing, and it makes me really hate you.
Hey!
Don't talk to your sister like that.
Delete, 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 and gone. Thanks for participating and making me think there was any point whatsoever with this fish crap.
If that phone is broken, don't you think for a second I'll be getting you another!
Well, you tried your best.
The issue with being the sort of person who always does their best is that whatever you do, everybody assumes that's as good as you're going to get. You never have this use of, well, I wasn't really trying, because if people know you as someone who never achieves below your potential, then your so-called potential is limited to your actual results.
I forgot to feed the fish again. It's not like that I don't see that the fish food is right there, or that I'm unaware that they need to eat to stay alive. And I understand it's quite simple, really. Just once a day, press the little button on this plastic thing. But I just don't. And then I put it off until all of a sudden this little button just seems like this huge, massive thing that's totally impossible. And then I just don't feed the fish. And then they die.
You've got the potential.
You're just lazy.
About a year ago, I deliberately did less than perfectly on a test. Like, a lot less than perfectly. I don't even know why. It was a bit of an experiment. I just decided not to study and go paintballing with Emmy and James instead. I even lied to Dad about it. Told him I'd done all my homework before I'd gone out, which was actually a ridiculous thing to do because it's not like he'd ever even ask if I'd done my homework or studied for a test. He knew I would have.
A good girl measures her self-worth by her achievements.
I really try, or at least I really try at the start of everything, but I'm not so good at being bored. And I get distracted and lose focus and get lazy. But actually, I don't know if I can be all that lazy. Because I think of everything I have to do, and I want to do it. Like, there are so many things I want to do, and then I just...
The teacher called Dad to express their worry because this just wasn't like me and had something happened at home that they should be aware of. I heard Dad laughing on the phone as they were talking about it. Well, could it be that geometry isn't one of Anna's natural talents?
What natural talents? People say I'm naturally talented at a lot of things.
You don't have any natural talents.
As if geometry is anyone's natural talent.
But I'm not living up to my potential.
Not the creative.
Not the genius.
No imagination.
No fun.
Dad did ask if I was okay because I know your grades are important to you, sweetheart.
Perfection.
You know, I don't
not care about my grades. Perfection is your only hope.
Just try harder.
I said, well, I did decide to go paintballing instead of studying for the test.
Dad just laughed and laughed and ruffled my hair and said, "Don't worry, it's okay not to be good at everything." Grandma said, "I know you're disappointed, but you did your best, and that's all that matters."
Just try harder next time.
It's like when I try to try harder,
There's not just something that just gets in the way, but
literally stops me from what I meant to do properly. I can read the same thing.
over and over and still not have any idea what it's about. It doesn't happen with things like H.C. Andersen, just less interesting things.
It was this big joke for weeks and a C+ incident until the next geometry test when I did try harder and got an A. And all of a sudden, my results weren't all that interesting anymore. No more phone calls home from the teachers.
It's like everything is easy for her and she just does it.
I'm okay with being the easy one, the quiet one, the good girl.
And I really don't hate her for it at all.
But sometimes
I just get so frustrated and mad, and
it feels a bit like I'm
Then she's
just there. Your daughter's obviously very bright.
Thank you.
Really funny and well liked.
Nice to hear.
Clearly a lot of creative potential as well, with the music and everything too.
Oh, yes, I'm a
But-
musician, so
Oh, are you?
yeah, it's always been important to us.
Good for you. Well, as I was saying, Mr. Sebastian and we
I don't
thought...
play much anymore. I've jumped careers a bit over the years, but yeah, I had a band. We did all right. Sorry, we're not talking about me.
No. Well, there were a couple things I wanted to raise with you.
Sure.
How much would you say you know about ADHD?
Well, when my other daughter was in kindergarten, she was bullied to bits by this little kid named Philip Becker. At the time, his parents and the teacher said it was just his ADHD playing up.
Well, that sounds like it wasn't handled very well. But the serial boy running amok in the classroom is quite a common image.
He threw a chair at her once. Got 4 stitches. She's fine though, don't worry. She thought it was pretty cool. They actually started hanging out after that. She's a good girl, that one.
Obviously, throwing chairs is not acceptable, nor necessarily representative of all children with ADHD. They're not all hyperactive 7-year-old boys.
Your point being?
Well, going back to Adrian, she shows quite a few signs of inattentiveness and other
That doesn't mean she has ADHD.
Inattentiveness is usually more common in girls than hyperactivity, as you may know. She's often either just staring out the window or talking to her classmates about something entirely unrelated to the task at hand, which I'm sure you appreciate can be quite disruptive to Adrian as well as the others. Of course, when she does try, she has incredible focus. For example, Mr. Sebastian tells me she's always focused hard.
That doesn't mean she has ADHD though.
But from what I see, this focus tends to be reserved only for the subjects or projects she is very interested in, often at the expense of other work needing to be done. And even when Adrian is interested, it seems that she struggles to stick with one idea. And if something doesn't go right the first time, she has a hard time finding the motivation to try again before abandoning ship. And I can tell this is not necessarily what she wants to do. In
She
fact,
doesn't have Attention Deficit Disorder.
well, the combination of symptoms.
Symptoms, everything you just described is personality.
So what if she does better on the subjects that she finds entertaining? I mean, who the hell doesn't? And sure, she struggles on the things that she doesn't enjoy, but she knows she can do better if she just tries harder. We all make sure she knows.
But she does try. She doesn't pass on things. She puts the motivation in, doesn't manage, and then hides behind jokes of, the dog ate my homework ilk.
We don't have a dog.
I know.
How?
I'm incredibly allergic, and if you had any furry animals, I'd be in tears by now, sitting so close to you.
Right.
University applications aren't that far off. Adrian is definitely feeling the pressure. Individuals with ADHD tend to be more...
Wait. Her grades are fine, aren't they?
They are, not spectacular, as I'm sure you're aware, but she's not in danger of failing anything.
So then what's the problem?
What's her bedroom like at home?
Excuse me?
Because I can tell you her desk is a mess. Her backpack too. She always loses things. And
It's a pigsty, alright? Because, you know, housework is unbelievably boring, as I'm sure you can agree.
I can.
And the tidiness gene skipped a generation, as it did with me. You should see my bedroom. That was not an invitation.
I didn't think it was.
Listen, thank you for telling me all this, but I just don't think that a combination of letters is what Adrian needs stamped across her forehead.
Well, the combination of letters might help with the writing Adrian the support she needs to achieve her academic goals.
I thought that was your job.
I am sorry.
I know you're doing your job by telling me these things, but it's just... There's nothing wrong with Adrian.
I
She's
didn't
just...
say there was anything wrong with her.
Sorry, no. It's just that... Adrian doesn't have a disorder. She just needs some stimulation, you know?
Don't let me keep you if you need to get going. We're running out of time anyways.
Yes, well, I do sort of have to run.
Oh wait, before you go, if you would like Adrian to be evaluated for the purpose of a diagnosis, call these guys. They know what they're doing.
Sure. Thank you very much.
I'm not holding my breath.
And my brain is swept away by the riptide. All my thoughts are washed astray by the riptide. Lost in the depths of the
What happens before the riptide?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think anyone could hear. It's not finished yet.
It's really nice.
Really?
Yeah, really, really nice.
Way more original than Purcell.
What?
Obviously, we can't do it for this next concert. It's in like a week. But maybe the next one after that. Mr. Sebastian is always saying that we should suggest things and write our own pieces and arrangements.
And you haven't?
No.
You should write a love song.
No, why would I do that?
I don't know. It smells like tacos.
It's not. It's chilly.
Even better.
Until you have to wash the dishes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really into that sort of thing. Writing the songs and making up stories and things. I'm more of a make the best of what you've already got kind of gal.
Apart from we were 8 and you said you buried Wanda, but in reality you just flushed her down the toilet and put a rock out because I was too scared to watch. So we had a whole memorial for a rock in an empty grave.
That was more of a lie than a piece of fiction, and I totally paid for it when you found out.
Yeah, but I was mostly mad that I hadn't got to watch the flushing.
Luckily, you've got many more opportunities. You know, if you want your fish to live longer, you should really remember to feed them.
I do feed them. Just at irregular hours.
I actually don't think you're starving your fish. I feed them too. They've got short lives and short memories. They probably don't even remember if they've not eaten.
Like me.
Dinner's like the one thing you never forget.
Hey, I didn't mean those things I said the other day when, you know.
Oh, yeah. I know. It's okay. I don't love him, by the way, Mr. Sebastian.
Whatever.
First of all, he is at least 32, and it's incredibly illegal.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like he'd notice if I wasn't there.
Do you want to add some trumpet to this?
Of course I do. How does it go again?
Okay, so the chorus is like this. Then my brain gets swept away by the riptide. All my thoughts are washed astray in the riptide, lost in the dance of the big white blue. Anna? I don't know what happens before the riptides.
I know. That's okay.
The girls thought you drowned, you know. It's tricky. Explain the concept of an aneurysm to a 5-year-old or 6-year-old. They just don't understand how someone could just drop down and die. But they do understand that people who fall in the water can drown. So,
It's not even a real thing.
of course, at the time, Adrian was just more upset the fact that you didn't get to finish your ice cream. And Anna was equally more upset at the fact that I said ice cream was pistachio flavored, which was disgusting apparently. Or at least it was at the time. She loves it now. And well, I don't think nothing in the world could stop them from wanting to play mermaids all the fucking time. Especially not you drowning.
It's the result of bad parenting.
It was easier when they were little. I could be a fun parent, jumping from game to game, playing along with all the little whims. I ran an excellent monster extermination business. There was no bed or wardrobe that I couldn't crack. By the end of it, I'm pretty sure they weren't even scared of monsters anymore. I'm pretty sure that they just woke me up because they found the whole extermination process so hilarious. How did I have the patience for all that crap? But I can't even hear them when they describe their day at school.
People who have it can never be successful.
I haven't done too badly on the whole, though. Right? I mean, they're both great. I think they're happy enough. I would know if something was wrong, wouldn't I? Right? No. After you died, the girls, they kept asking me to play that one song.
fishbowl song. And afterwards, they would stay up all night singing that one line over, over, and over again, way past their bedtime. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year. How I wish you were here.
Imagination, fast mind, curious,
Resilient.
Fun!
imagination, fast mind,
Curious. Resilient.
Fun!
imagination, fast mind, curious.
Resilient.
Fun!
There are approximately 5 million unfinished ideas in here. Songs, stories, drawings. I really love notebooks when they're new. Blank notebooks are like a promise, a possibility that something exciting will fill their pages. But they usually lose their charm when a few pages are filled with things you never want to revisit. And then the remaining empty pages just remind you that you never got anywhere with it, and never get anywhere with anything.
Nobody makes me want to do my best as much as Mr. Sebastian.
This has to be the worst one. Nothing, nothing. And then look, a little drawing of a fish.
He's the only one who thinks my best can get better, even when I'm note perfect. He always says there's room for improvement. At first it was so frustrating, but now I can hear what he hears. And when I play a bit flat or something, he gives me this look. Then he smiles when he realizes I know what I've done too. It's so embarrassing, but it pushes me to do better.
When I was little, I wanted to be a mermaid.
At the same time, I want to play flat all the time, just so I can see that look.
Lazy.
I've been practicing so hard for our next concert. Adrian and I are doing solos in Purcell's Sound the Trumpet, but with actual trumpet for the second line and Adrian instead of the countertenor. This is the first time we're all practicing this piece together. The early music ensemble and Adrian. All the bands usually have rehearsal after school on a Thursday, and the choir, which Adrian's in, has rehearsals on a Thursday.
Forgetful.
Today is Wednesday.
When we were little, Dad was obviously the widowed sea king. Once, Anna had discovered that if you say sea king several times in a row, it sounds like seeking.
Seeking.
We used to think we were so funny jumping around the living room and saying, "The sea king is sinking, the 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 sea king is sinking," until Dad exploded at us. It doesn't really happen that often, just sometimes when we're really annoying, or I don't do the dishes and Anna forgets to do them for me. It used to be scary when we were little, but the worst you'd ever do was slam some cupboards and shout for a bit, and very occasionally throw our stuff out the windows. But then you get all upset and embarrassed that he'd overreacted, and he was really sorry. I do it too, and I don't really find it funny at all anymore. And I don't think Anna does either. Dad and I can be really loud, and Anna's pretty quiet, apart from when she plays the trumpet. She says she's so good at it, because every time Dad or I go ballistic, she goes to her room to have a practice to block out the noise.
No control over their emotions.
We were supposed to have started 5 minutes ago. She's forgotten.
That's just crap though.
Anna's good at the trumpet because she's good at everything.
You just need to try harder. The look he's giving me right now.
And because she's in love with our teacher, Mr. Sebastian. Oh no.
Chaotic. It's all my fault, apparently. I tell Mr. Sebastian that Adrian has responded to my text saying that she's at home and she's sorry. And I say all these excuses like I always do, saying how she has a tendency to forget things sometimes. And he asks, well, why didn't you remind her then?
This stupid project!
I say, normally I would, but I didn't this time. He doesn't ask why.
Careless.
We practice anyway. I lose count of how many mistakes I make, but I don't look at Mr. Sebastian to see if he's looking at me. When we finish, he doesn't even tell me to do better next time. Maybe he thinks this is as good as I'm going to get. Are you happy now? Are you fucking happy?
No.
This was important. The concert is Saturday. We literally had today and the rehearsal on the day, and that's it. You can't just miss it.
I know, but you usually remind me.
I shouldn't have to. You're nearly 15, and I'm not your personal assistant.
I know.
Or your mother!
Maybe you shouldn't let me get away with it then. Don't just remind me of stuff or do the dishes or help me with homework.
What?
You treat me like I can't do anything right.
I do not.
Yes, you do. You all do.
Oi! Girls! What's all this yelling about? Adrian, how many times in the past week have I told you to clean your room? And those dishes downstairs? Are they meant to do themselves? Just once! Once! I would like to come home and not be immediately immersed in fucking chaos!
Good luck with that.
What did you say?
I'm going to go.
No, you're not. You're going to stay right there. We're going to sort this out like fucking adults. And you are going to clean this room, and then you are going to take care of the dishes.
It's not my turn, and I'm not a fucking adult.
Excuse me?
You're the adult, and it's Adrian's turn to do the dishes.
And you can't help her out just this once?
She doesn't need my help.
I'll do it.
Like you'll feed your fish, or clean your room, or stick to commitments.
Christ, enough! Fine, Adrian, you take care of the dishes. Thank you, Adrian. Now, which one of you is going to tell me what all this arguing is about?
I think there's something wrong with my brain.
Eh?
Oh, wow.
I've been doing some research and stuff, and
Seriously?
you know, I find it hard to concentrate, and I forget things sometimes.
So, because you forget to feed the fishes, you think you have a brain tumor? Is that it?
No, not a brain tumor, but ADHD, maybe.
So, you missed rehearsal because you have ADHD? Nice.
She doesn't have ADHD. You missed rehearsal? Why?
I just said. I forgot.
And you didn't think to remind her?
She was probably too busy putting lipstick on for her lover, Mr. Sebastian.
Fuck you, Adrian.
Jesus Christ, enough, girls! Anna, go to your room. We'll discuss this later. You don't have ADHD.
Can I get tested, at least, or whatever?
And then what?
I don't know. Maybe things can get easier.
Easier how? Adrian, ADHD doesn't have a cure. So what if some psychologist who just hands out letter combinations left and right tells you that you have ADHD and gives you a bunch of mind-numbing pills? You still have to do all the work. If you want to do better in school or pull you away at home, you just have to do it.
You don't need a fucking diagnosis on your brain following you around your entire life. You just need to try harder.
Try harder? Try harder? All I do is try harder. But every time I try, it just... Ah!
Calm down! Fuck. Listen, just sort out your room. I'll take care of the dishes.
All my thoughts are lost astray by the riptide, lost in the depths of a big red blue. Maybe they'll find the way to you.
So, Adrian has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Thinks she has.
Isn't that hereditary?
Sorry.
Because you definitely have it.
Huh?
The general explanation for children with ADHD back then was just that they were a bit naughty.
Oh, done our research, have we, Mother?
There's a simple explanation for everything. You scraped by in school because you were understimulated. Well, that was my excuse. According to your teachers, you were just lazy. You were bouncing off the walls and couldn't sit still because you were a physically active boy with an intrinsic need to keep moving. But you were charming and kind when you weren't furious about something. But we didn't worry. We knew you would do okay in life, on the whole.
Everyone seems plenty worried that Adrian won't do okay in life.
As women, sometimes we're not given the same chances.
But Adrian doesn't bounce off the wall, so.
I know. But you see, apparently with girls...
Hyperactivity isn't as common as it is in boys.
Oh, so I'm not the only one who's been doing my research.
Of course not. I've been on the chat forums, I've watched all those buttery podcasts about how ADHD is a superpower, and I know plenty of people who went through life with ADHD, including Albert Einstein. Lo and behold, because that is a realistic role model to hold yourself up to.
So,
Tell me, do you think Albert effing Einstein's parents got conspiratory emails from the "We're just here to help Peachy Parenting Club" about how to collectively group together? Because we just have to deal with the ADHD kid who keeps on disrupting our other kids' education. Do you think Albert Einstein's parents had to deal with the looks of concern that they would get at the freaking pickup and drop-off?
do you get that with Adrian?
Do you remember Anna's friend, Philip?
Oh, yes, her little friend. He was sweet.
And he had an ADHD diagnosis. The way people would look at his future of failure. And don't think that I don't know that you used to get that. And I'm the self-fulfilling prophecy, going from job to job because I don't have the drive or the patience to fucking build a career. Do you honestly think that I haven't been listening to Adrian as she describes what's going on? And listening to her fucking teachers tell me and her about fucking inattentiveness this and lack of focus that and distraction there? Do you think at any point in all these conversations I haven't drawn a conclusion or a comparison to myself? I may be useless, but I'm not a fucking idiot!
I never said you were either.
Children are my greatest accomplishments.
Tristan, maybe a diagnosis would make things easier, not only for Adrian, but for you too. And Anna?
I just don't want to be the one to screw them up. I don't want Adrian or Anna, for that matter. I'm less concerned about her. I don't want her to look up to me and think that this is the best that she can get.
Tristan, you sound like a self-pitying idiot.
What?
So what? You've had more jobs than the average person. What harm? Portfolio careers are trendy. Nobody takes a job these days and expects to stay there for 40 years like they used to. You have a lovely house and you raise these wonderful kids basically on your own. Oh yes, there were times when I stepped in to help, but when were you ever without employment or enough freelance work to pay the bills or put food on the table? Yes, of course, you may have missed an occasional bill, but that's because you forgot
Thanks, Mother. I get the idea.
Right. I think I'll take a rain check on dinner and see you Saturday for the girls' concert. All right, darling. All right.
Thank you for everything.
You're very welcome. Oh, and Tristan, I wouldn't necessarily not be worried about Anna.
You probably don't have ADHD at all.
Daddy's right. He knows best.
They would have caught it by now. There is nothing wrong with you.
Actually, there's plenty wrong with you because if you go and get diagnosed,
They'll say you have an entirely neurotypical brain.
There are no excuses
It would mean
that I'm just shit at life.
Knock, knock. You okay?
She hates you.
they all hate you.
you mess everything up with everybody.
As you do.
I'm good.
You know, when I was your age, I had a massive crush on my English teacher. He even got me to write a few good essays, you know?
Dad, I don't have a crush on Mr. Sebastian. You could hear Daddy coming up the stairs.
But he didn't come to your room.
He went to the one that actually functions.
I'm just saying it's completely normal to have these feelings, and under no circumstances can you act on this. And if in any way he takes advantage of it,
He wouldn't. He wouldn't, and he's not remotely interested. I'm not either, it's not like I'd want anything to happen. Mr. Sebastian just,
Yeah?
he doesn't take my best for granted. Is that the best you can do?
Really?
Didn't take you long, did it?
You might as well just give up.
Also, what's for dinner?
And I'm sorry for, well, you know.
It's okay.
You suck!
That wasn't even 20 seconds.
What are you doing with your life?
Maybe you should just forget how to breathe. Dad,
Yeah?
are you gonna allow Adrian to see a doctor?
Oh, Anna.
Do you remember my friend Phil from first grade who moved away?
Yeah. I also remember when he wasn't your friend. He used to torture you.
You know he had ADHD?
Yeah, I know.
His dad explained it to me once when I was over playing at their house and he got angry. I don't even remember what he freaked out about, but I remember Mr. Becker talking and explaining a bit about why he reacted the way he did and that they were working on it together.
Adrian is not a 7-year-old hyperactive boy.
Yeah, well, neither are you.
Adrian! Adrian! You okay? You okay?
I don't think I am. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You okay?
What if you're right, though? What if I'm just shit at life?
And if you are, well, so am I. And my life is pretty great.
I think everything's gonna be okay.
The sea bitches are riptides. They may not be gentle waves helping to keep you afloat, but they can take you to places where you may not have dared to go otherwise. Sometimes it's places you don't want to go, places of anger and frustration and saying things you didn't mean to, places that are hard to come back from. The riptides can sweep you off your feet, out of nowhere, and throw up your safe ocean in a second. They can make you go from 1% mad to 95% mad in a second. But they keep you moving. They can bring you into beautiful depth where it's just you and what you are doing in that moment. They can have your brain processing several parallel things at once. They can let you burst out ideas and thoughts at 1,000,000 miles per minute. And once you realize that they are part of you and not against you, you can take some control over whether you get swept away by them. You might even be able to change your direction. But taming a stormy ocean is really hard and sometimes not possible. But I can find out what happens before the riptides. I don't know everything yet. I'm only a mermaid, but that's okay. I have help.
And my brain gets swept away by the riptide. All my thoughts are washed astray by the riptide. Lost in the depths of the big red blue.
Maybe they'll find their way to you.
Time to feed the fish.
Then my brain gets swept away like a riptide. All my thoughts are washed astray by the riptide. Lost in the depths of the big wave blue. Maybe they'll find their way. And my brain is swept away like a riptide. All my thoughts are washed astray by the riptide. Lost in the depths of the big wave blue. Maybe they'll find their way to you. Then my brain gets swept away like a riptide. All my thoughts are washed astray by a riptide. Maybe they'll find, baby. Maybe they'll find, maybe they'll find
I'm always really intrigued by societal norms and expectations, particularly gendered bias on people who grow up as young girls. So the concept for Riptides grew out of this amazing list that I received from the WNCC students of topics that they would be interested in having explored in this new work. The idea of exploring ADHD alongside mermaids was just kind of the thing that opened this world.
I didn't have no idea what ADHD was until I was in Riptides, and I read the script several times, and I came to rehearsal, and playing a sea bitch, being the representation of ADHD, it really opened my eyes, and I have somewhat of an understanding of it, not completely.
It's very important to do shows like Riptides because proper representation of ADHD, especially in young women, is not very prominent, I think. Everyone associates it and stereotypes it in ways that a lot of young women don't get ADHD symptoms. So awareness is very important.
It's like awareness, and it gets you more information than you already knew.
I think that it emphasizes the fact that ADHD is underdiagnosed, and a lot of people have a lot of shame with it. Every single view in the life of any child with ADHD and the people around them could be affected by this.
It's important to help the audience understand certain concepts or problems that may be like past surface level of understanding.
I think we absolutely need new work. We need to continue to be exposed to new work, and we need to continue to make new work.
People need to hear the story.
It was a little nerve-wracking, to be honest with you.
It was kind of challenging.
As someone who has ADHD, it was very important to see the whole thing done, really, but a specific part would have been the teacher scene. It was very interesting to see a teacher be clinical about it and be informed about it in a way that my teachers weren't. If it had been caught for me much younger, I would have had an easier schooling life. So it was very close to home for me.
I learned a lot from this production, especially watching my other co-actors, watching Ellie play Adrian and her performance. It's a really challenging thing that people have to go through. So just to get an understanding of it, and if somebody feels like they have ADHD from watching the production and it could help them in any way find help, I think that the production will serve that purpose in a good way.
I think it's just a really bold and brave choice by WNCC and Francesca as well to decide to give this kind of opportunity both to the students but also to me as a young woman writer. It's just something that's actually quite easy to do, and there are a lot of voices and there are a lot of writers, and we are all hungry to tell new stories, and we are all very hungry to see these new stories on stage. So put them there.
With Tristan, he has ADHD, but he never really went to a doctor for it. And I feel a connection to that because as someone with ADHD myself, I did have a time when I took medicine for it, but then I decided that was not good for me, and I feel the connection to him because it's like I feel his struggles mentally at times, because sometimes he can get lost in things, or sometimes he feels like he is not living up to what he should be as a father because of his his mental state. But in the end, he's able to power through it, and I feel that was an important thing to also see, is that even if at times you might not be the best at what you are, you could still be good. Like how he's not the best father, but at times he gets the job done. He is a good father still in the end. And that's kind of makes me feel better about my future.
Hi, my name is Carolyn McBurney, and I had the inordinate privilege of working on this world premiere of Riptides. I love original scripts, and this was a joy to work on. I commend the playwright Therese Ramstedt for her sensitive and honest treatment of the subject of ADHD. Working with Francesca was life-affirming for myself and for the cast. And that cast. Being a newcomer and of a different generation, this cast of young performers was welcoming and generous and honest and open. All of the best things that theater brings people together to do. We explored, we cried, we laughed, and questioned together, and overcame so many things that the world is throwing at us right now to put together this beautiful story. Thank you, WNCC, for letting me swim alongside you for Riptides.
I really, really want to commend and above all thank WNCC for, and particularly Francesca, of course, for being so bold as to commission a new piece of work and focus on original work, particularly in the times that we're going through. But I think there's so much work. There is a wealth of amazing pieces of writing, obviously, through history, but it's just crucial, I think, that we create new work, especially for the people who are going to be the theatre makers of the future, and to be exposed to original work as a student that you've also had, that you've also played a part in developing. I hope that it's been really exciting, and I hope it's been rewarding. I think it's certainly something that I would have really loved as a drama student. And yes, I really hope that this kind of canvas that I've created has been something that you have enjoyed painting on and putting your own spin on, and I really cannot wait to see the result.